Can you tell us now about your youngest son?
My youngest son, he also was adopted, all four adopted, and he came to us on Christmas Eve. So he was my Christmas surprise, my Christmas present, and he was, we were told that there was no drugs or alcohol in utero, so I was excited and thrilled about that, and had every reason to believe that, that we wouldn't see the same kinds of problems that we had with some of our other children. And so we brought him home, and all seemed to be going well. He seemed to be, bright and alert and doing well. And somewhere around 18 months and so on, I was noticing that his speech was not really coming on as well as I thought it should be. And he, I was concerned about that, and so I was watching that. My other child had been a little slow in speech, but then that came right out and was fine, and so I thought, and I've been talking to other people, and they've been saying, oh, speech will, some kids are just slow to talk, and it'll come, and so I thought, okay, I'll just watch it, but I was going to get him into some classes if it still seemed to be taking a long time. And by the time he was 3, his speech still was pretty limited. He would say 4 or 5 groups of words like one word. I'na do it, I'na go, I'na some, I'na can, things like that. And that's about all he could say. And so by the time he was 3, I got him into some speech preschool classes that were specialized for children having speech issues. And we were going to that every day, and he seemed to be doing well enough. I didn't see any real change or progress, but I was doing what I thought was the right and the best thing to do for him. And then one day when it would be in September, his speech teacher came out to me and said, does he do this little flappy thing a lot with his arms? And I said, just when he's excited, like watching TV or something. And she said, that's real classic with autism. And then the bells went off in my head. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I went home and got on the computer and I started looking up autism. And then all of a sudden, bing, 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 there were the list of symptoms that was typical of autism, and he had a lot of them. And so I called up my pediatrician, and they said it would be 9 months before he could even be seen for a diagnosis of anything. And it was at this very same time that I realized that my other son had some neurological issues that were significant, more than I had realized. And so I knew it was time to call Donna, because I knew of her and had seen her have success, and I wanted my child to be well someday, not just passing along from specialty class to specialty class to specialty class. I wanted him to be better, and I had seen better happening with what Donna was doing. And so I called her up and I said, I've got 2 boys who have severe issues. I need some help. And so she came out and began with a program for my 4th son. And I remember when we first evaluated him, she showed like 30 flashcards. So they had typical pictures on them, like a ball or a shoe or a house or a boat, things like that, to see how many of these cards could he name and actually verbalize what was on the card. And he successfully named about 4 cards of the 30. And so she finished the evaluation and so on, and then she gave me the program, and I knew I was going to have to do probably about 2 hours a day with this child as well. Creeping and crawling and sensory and vision and all the different things. And so I thought, how am I going to do that and have him go to preschool too? There wasn't time in the day. So I decided I better pull him out of the specialty class and begin just doing program with him in the morning when my other children were in school, and I could focus on him and his brother doing this program. And I was full of guilt feelings. I said, what if I'm doing the wrong thing, and I'm robbing him of this time with a teacher who's been specialized and taught to work with children with speech difficulties and so on, and even autism issues. And I thought, oh, I hope I'm doing the right thing. But I just did it. I just pulled him out, and we began with creeping and crawling and all the stuff. And every day I just did my best to do as much of the program as I could do. And I did the most of it. each day, the best as I could. And about 6 months later, Donna came again, and she reevaluated him. And this time, when she showed him the flashcards, he accurately named like all but 4 of the cards, and both of us, our jaws just dropped, because during that 6 months time I had stopped reading to him. I wasn't doing any kind of flashcards. He wasn't going to any school. All we were doing was program, because that's all I had time for. And somehow, suddenly, he knew the names of all those objects and could say and could verbalize them, and we were just stunned. And so, and at that point, I realized, I think I can put him back into the preschool if they have an afternoon class. Because I realized I could get done what we needed to do in the morning, and then I could put him back in an afternoon class and have the best of both worlds. So I did that, and when he went back to his teacher in the afternoon, and she realized when he came back, her comments were like, "Wow, what have you been doing? Wow, he's had a significant jump in what he's able to do." And so we've continued the program with him. It's also been about 4 years, and his speech now, he's a little chatterbox around the house. He is making much more eye contact. He's beginning to read. He is able to tell me about his day in enough of an organized sentences and paragraphs that I know what he's doing and about in what order and maybe what time of the day he even did it. He is just a delight to have around, and with him I also see a light at the end of the tunnel. I expect to have him well someday, functioning on a normal way. So we're well on our way, and I'm just very grateful.
Talk about nutrition. How was diet affected by the program for your family?
Oh, diet has been huge. The more I learn about these issues, the more I am completely impressed that the gut and the brain are hugely connected, and that they're just connected. The gut absolutely affects the brain, and the brain absolutely affects the gut. With Daniel, excuse me,
It's okay.
with my youngest son, we put him right in the very beginning on the gluten-free, casein-free diet in terms of autism. And that was hard for me, because I hadn't, what do you feed him? And at the same time, he had narrowed his diet down to just a very few foods that he would eat. And I thought I was a pretty tough mom in terms of making my kids eat their vegetables and do what was right. But he would literally gag and throw up. Like, "Man, this tastes so bad, I cannot stand it, Mom." And who wants to eat foods that they hate so bad? I mean, I don't eat foods that would make me gag and throw up, but very few do that for me. But almost everything was doing that for him. And so I had to be very strict with him. And I remember Donna counseling me that if I was going to heal his brain, we had to have nutrition, good nutrition in his life and in his diet. And so she instructed me to get him started onto a good nutritious diet, where I would put his appropriate food on his plate, and so now he eats eggs all the time, just wolfs them down, just loves them. But that was very challenging to get him to eat things that he wouldn't eat, and I had to be a tough mom about that. But that has been very helpful in terms of getting him to have good nutrition coming into his life, and it also has helped me because I don't have to be dancing around making all these special meals that he would eat. He eats what the family eats. We eat nutritious meals. I did notice within about a month of starting the program with him, and I really had not begun a whole lot in terms of creeping and crawling and sensory and all that stuff, because we'd only been doing it for about 3 weeks. But he was 4 years old by this time, or almost 4 months shy of four, and was still not potty trained and showing no interest for it at all. And I tried, different encouragements and reward and so on, and it was no interest, not even like he wasn't even capable. It was just not there. And so I had just figured, okay, well, I just won't worry about that. Well, we were at the library. It was about 3 weeks into the diet and into the program, and he walked up to me and said, "I gotta go potty." And I said, "Really? Okay." So we rushed him into the bathroom, and he went right over and peed in the toilet. And I was just stunned, and I'm thinking, but he had a diaper on. Where's his diaper? And so I thought, and then I realized that his diaper had fallen off of him under his little sweatpants and was in a little wrap around his ankle, down one leg, and I didn't know. He had realized that he had to go potty. He was in an environment that was strange. It wasn't his home. He was able to communicate to me that he had to go potty, went into a strange bathroom and took care of it himself. I'm like, wow, this is new behavior. And within about a day or so, he was potty trained for urine, for pee, and then within about 6 months, he potty trained for poop. And so that was a big deal for me. The lights have continued to turn on as we have done different things to make sure that he was getting good nutrition and try and heal his gut. The lights are turning on, and we recently did a lot of things to specifically heal his gut. And he's 8 years old now, and he had never had a formed stool in his whole life. It had always been soft, very mushy, sometimes frequently borderline diarrhea. Not a hot diarrhea, but very gassy, very watery, and just looked like a soft Play-Doh pushed through a hole. That was as formed as it was. And as we have been doing specific things to heal his gut, he finally has a normal stool that is formed, that doesn't have foul odor. He had some real foul-smelling stools. They're not foul. They're just a healthy-looking stool. And as that's happening, I'm seeing more neurological lights turning on, more speech, more eye contact in the family, more interaction with the family, and just lots of reasons to be real excited.
And that interaction's not really limited within the family, is it?
No, yeah, no. Before, he wouldn't make eye contact with anybody outside the family. Brief eye contact with me, less eye contact with my husband, some eye contact brief with the kids. But now he's making more sustained eye contact. He's actually seeking eye contact